Do you keep in touch with anyone from the 70s show, like
Of
Topher
course.
Grace or Ashton Kutcher?
I mean, we grew up together. So yeah, of course. It's awesome. I mean, I always go to Coachella every year with Danny, and we're like family, so for better or worse, we're just like we can't get away from each other. But thank God it's for better because everyone's so awesome.
That cast is sick if you think about it. Like if you look at other shows at the time,
right?
one or two will break out, but everyone on that show is great and everyone has a career afterwards.
I know.
That's bizarre. That never happens.
I know. It's kind of crazy. This woman named Debbie Gross is who cast that. And it is really crazy when you look at it and you're just like, oh my God, this group of people she put together. And most of us didn't even know what we were doing. Mila, and I remember Danny, we all got cast, and Danny Masterson was doing a movie called The Faculty.
Oh, the
Josh
horror movie.
Hartnett.
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember, and he was in Austin shooting The Faculty, and we all booked the show, and we were all together at this dinner, and he was flying in from Austin, and we're like, oh my God, he was on a movie set, and he was just like working with Josh Hartnett, and we're like, holy crap. But yeah, it's just so funny. Like none of us had really acted before.
Wasn't that like Ashton's first job?
English.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Kutcher was he was a model.
Yeah.
But it was it's awesome, man, and we all just have awesome careers. It's really stellar.
So did you see the Ashton Mila hookup and them procreating, like making a human together? Did you see that coming?
One thing about my crew is we don't talk about our personal lives, and it's kind of like our agreement.
Okay.
For all of us.
No,
from all of us. But they're an amazing couple, and they're super happy, and I love them to death.
So what the biggest thing is you learned about women in prison from doing Orange Is the New Black?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing I learned was that usually when there's someone who is, incarcerated, immediately you think they're a terrible person. You're like, oh my God, they did terrible things, and that's why they're incarcerated. And sometimes that is the case, but other times there's situations that happen where it was just like a terrible mistake, or, like you look at Yoga Jones, and she ended up on the show, she ended up killing this child, but it was totally an accident.
And who does she play?
And she plays, so her name is Constance, so she plays Yoga Jones, who's she's like the
yoga
teacher.
That's right. Yes. That's right.
And she ended up killing this child, and it was a total accident. Or you take someone like Tasty, who we were talking about, Danielle, and her character actually got out and couldn't hack it, and wanted to get back in.
Right.
So it's like, during the first season, we had this one-liner, which was every sentence has a story. And we really hold true to that. And we tell these people's stories, and you really get to understand, like, they're not just inmates. They're these women, and they have lives, and, a sense of family and love and sisterhood. And it's awesome.
Did you go to prison or talk to inmates to actually prepare for the role?
Yeah. And the thing that was cool was that Piper's book helped all of us a lot. Even though my character is very different from the, real Alex or whatever. Mm-hmm. But Taylor and I, we were filming at a maximum, this was a little crazy. We were filming at a maximum security prison, and over all the windows they taped brown paper over all the windows on the side that we were shooting on. And in between a take, we went over and we peeled up the paper, and we looked over, and it was full on Oz.
Wow.
TV show Oz, all these men living in the common area. We could see all of them in their cell. And because our show is in maximum security. So being in a maximum security prison, you're just like, oh my God, this is crazy. And you're watching it live. And then we covered it back up, and we're like, oh my God, we shouldn't be looking at this. This is very odd. And we wanted to respect their space, and we're like, holy crap. But it was a little crazy. That definitely put things into perspective for sure. Gwyneth Paltrow and Salma Hayek, and everybody's talking about bone broth now. I mean, I've been doing it for years. Elizabeth's been doing it for even longer. And there's this woman, her name's Sally Fallon. She's the Yoda, the all-wise Yoda of bone broth. She's awesome, and she's had books about bone broth out forever.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant hurt I think it was his ankle or something, or maybe it was his
knee,
meniscus, maybe. And his nutritionist called the hotel and was like, you need to make him bone broth. You need to bring it up to his room for him. And there was an article written about it. And then all of a sudden, all these athletes were like, oh, if Kobe's doing bone broth, we got to do it. But the whole reason is because you take these bones, you cook them down for hours to extract these nutrients and these minerals. And if, Sally Fallon says, it's like feeds like. So you have these bones, you cook them down, you have the collagen, the cartilage, the bone marrow, and all that literally replaces.
Whose bones are these, by the way? You didn't mention
Do you have to murder someone first?
No, you don't have to murder anybody. Some, grass-fed cows. You know, your local butcher. You go there and get some bones.
All right, cool.
It sounded very mysterious where all these bones are from. Like, where are you getting these?
Yeah, I was gonna say you can ask your butcher for bones.
Oh, girl, every butcher has. And now, and also, you guys have Brodo here, which is like this awesome restaurant that's like all broth down on the Lower East Side.
Really?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Is it filling?
I mean, it depends. Like, I drink mine with meals.
Okay.
It's just part of my daily routine now, so I don't even really think about it.
I just picture this barren restaurant, and you only get broth.
Oh, no, girl.
I'm hungry just thinking about
there's
it.
lines around the block. Like, New Yorkers go there, they get a coffee cup full of broth, and there's a line around the block.
Or even like you get the appetizer like bone marrow, and I've seen people like sucking the bone dry just to get all the marrow out.
Hell yeah.
I've wanted to venture in to try it, and I'm fascinated by people that eat it. But yeah, a lot of people.
Wait, have you done that,
even
Laura?
like back in the day, like I think it was like Queen Victoria would sit there and like smear it on her toast. And soldiers would eat it before they go off to battle. Like, because it literally heals you and nourishes you. It the cartilage for your joints, and that's why athletes love it. Cartilage for your joints, and also the collagen. Women love it because the collagen are face and everything. But collagen is all over your body. You know, I mean, think about it.
Well, when you put it that
cartilage,
way,
bones, and
suck
collagen.
it out of a bone.
Totally. I don't eat the marrow. I just cook the soup, and I cook everything with it. Like the brown rice, I cook with it. Any protein I cook it with bone broth. Everything. It's like the center of all of my cooking.
That's cool.
Yeah, and now all my friends do it. They all have like crock pots and
you have bone broth parties.
Seriously, totally. I always have broth.
A lot of the people on online that wanted to ask you a question, it's like the same question, and I feel like you doing these radio, interviews back to back to back, you're going to get asked this question all day long.
I don't care. It's totally fine.
But are you gay? Are you straight? Was what everybody asks. Like, do you really like kissing women? Did you not like kissing women?
Everybody asks, am I
weird?
gay or am I straight?
That's what everyone wants to know.
Oh, that's so funny.
Isn't that interesting?
But I feel like everybody knows the answer to that question.
Like, are you really into girls? Was what a lot of people were saying.
I mean, I'm straight. But
that's not a bad thing, by the way. The way
straight. But it doesn't matter what I say anyway, because a lot of people are going to think I'm a lesbian regardless. It doesn't matter,
right? Because
I have a deep voice and I play poker and I watch UFC. I must be a lesbian.
Obviously a lesbian.
And I have a motorcycle, so people are like, "You're definitely a lesbian." And I'm like, whatever. But what I will say is, our fan base is so incredible. And they're so supportive. It's awesome. But yes, I am straight. And doing the scenes with Taylor are like no big deal.
Who plays Piper?
Who plays Piper? From the first scene we had together. I mean, the first scene we ever shot together, we were naked in a shower together.
So
for season
one,
hot. That was like our first scene we ever did together. So it's like, hey, cool, nice to see you again. Let's
get naked.
Wait, did you have any time before that though together, or was it just like the first?
Only when we were auditioning.
Oh.
And
I was gonna say that's a nice icebreaker.
Like, hey. we jumped right in.
Yeah.
And then, but we were so comfortable with each other. Even in the audition, we had to do a scene where, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the end of the pilot, there's a scene where can't find her luggage at the airport, and I tell her, there's a scene where I'm kind of manipulating her into doing this.
Taking the
drugs,
what I
mean? And I'm like, I'll meet you, in Berlin, and everything's gonna be fine. And I kind of like seduce her. That was one of the scenes we did in the audition. And then, and even in the audition, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put my hands here and put my hands here. She's like, yeah, do whatever you want. Like, we were totally comfortable.
Cool.
And it's awesome. I mean, it's just like, as long as you're comfortable, whether it's a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter.
I know. I was going to say, I think the reason people ask is that maybe they don't know a lot about your personal life. They've only seen
because I'm private
Black.
about my personal life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then you see the chemistry between you and Piper, Taylor's character, is so palpable. You guys have this great chemistry. So it's like, wow, she obviously must be into girls in real life.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's that chemistry that you're talking about is this thing that it's like this X factor where sometimes it's either there or it's not. And I've worked with different other co-stars where it's not there and you're just like, oh man, what the hell am I going to do? And then, with Taylor, it's just there. And then, other guys I've worked with, it's just there. So it's like, you can never tell. You never know until you're there and it's happening. And it's why some movies, you just fall in love with the couple and you're like, oh my God. And other times you're like, I don't buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
who's a better kisser? Is it Taylor from Orange is the New Black or Eric from that 70s show?
Oh, man. Topher would kill me, but I'm going to say Taylor.
So what's the etiquette, by the way? Do you do gum, mouthwash before kissing scenes? What do you guys usually do? I'm dying to know about that stuff.
You know what's so funny is I did an episode of Castle You just reminded me of this.
Yeah.
I did an episode of Castle where I played Nikki Heat, and Nathan Fillion, who plays Castle in the show, he wrote this book, and Nikki Heat's like the lead of his books or whatever. So I played Nikki Heat, and I had to do a scene where I kissed him in an elevator, and I didn't know we were shooting that scene next. And I love peanut butter filled pretzels. I just love them. I love them. I don't know why. I love them. This is before I realized I was totally gluten intolerant, by the way. And I'm at the craft service table and I'm like eating peanut butter pretzels. And then they're like, Laura, you got to go shoot the scene with Nathan. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't realize that was right now. Okay. So I ran to the elevator. We did the scene and he's like, were you eating peanut butter pretzels? And I'm like, yes, I was. And then right when I wrapped, he bought me this Costco size, like, jar of peanut butter pretzels, and he was like, this is so every co-star will know what I had to go through.
That's
but
so
no,
cute.
it was so funny. But
do you ever, like, if you don't like the person you're working with, you eat something like jalapenos or something just wretched in smell?
No, normally you're very respectful. You know, you respect your co-star and you're nice about that normally. But I've never had. I've been really fortunate. I've always worked with people who were really great, so I never really
had to trick them
had to worry about that.
So is it gum, mouthwash? I need to know. What is it?
You know,
we're
big on Listerine strips.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, those punch you right in the face.
Those
with
are
freshness,
incredible.
don't they?
Yeah, those are good.
You sound big. Like, do you have like jars of it on the set that everyone just pops in their mouth?
Every makeup bag, there's a little thing in Listerine strips every time. So we're big on those. I think Taylor likes gum. Every actor has their own thing. I like the strips because they're easy. Everyone has their thing. Some people like the spray.
Yeah.
And they dissolve. You don't have to worry about it. It's over spitting your gum. It's a whole situation.
Yeah.
Smart.